Alright, back here on a Wednesday, I think it is. Hell, it might be Thursday, I don't know. Wednesday. We got the 52 shop truck in the shop. Oh, yeah. As soon as I started talking, this guy showed up to help me pick up the truck bed off the shop truck. Basically, we're going to fix a few things. It looks like I got a heck of a pinion seal leak. I did see it was leaving some oil on the ground, so we'll replace that again. There was two options, and of course I probably got the wrong one. There's a battery draw on the darn thing, and I don't know if something's staying on, so I got the bed off, and then we'll put a meter on that. Then the other thing was it's got an air leak somewhere, and I think it's on one of these lines right here, or maybe the pressure valve, or the airbag valve, and I need to pull the sending unit and adjust it once again, or possibly pick up a new one. It's reading about a quarter tank off, and I adjusted it, and it didn't seem like it made that big a difference. Back with the old shop, I was able to get on the lift and pull the tank out, and honestly, between the two, I think it's probably easier just pulling the bed. But I don't have a lift in. I think that's probably going to be the easiest route today, or here in the next few days. So that's kind of the plan on this. Just clean it up, double check all my nuts and bolts. I did come through and put like a little drop of paint here and then on the nut. That way you know if the nut has spin on the end of the bolt. It's kind of a little trick there. And I might change the shocks. I'm not 100% sure yet. But basically clean it up, double check everything, replace those few things, and then we got a few things that we got to do on this. So I'll probably keep a little bit of a video going on it, and then yeah, hopefully it'll be down the road. So see if we can get some stuff done on this. Alright, so we're back here on Tuesday working on some stuff around the shop. I think what we're going to play around with is the 52. I got some parts in yesterday. I didn't film, basically my SD cards are full, so from the weekend I ended up unloading those, and while I was doing that I ran and got a new pinion seal. I put a pinion seal in there before, but I got the wrong one. I didn't check the yoke to the size of the inside of the pinion seal, and the one I had was too big, so but that should be good because I noticed it was slinging a little oil when I drove it. But I got the new pinion seal in it, cleaned all the grease from our counterweight, so that should be down. We were a little bit low on rear end grease. I put about maybe a quart, a bunch of quart on the ground, so I'm not quite a quart. I still had some left in the bottle, but that was a little low. I ended up putting these shocks on, which was a huge difference. The other ones were off of a full-size truck. I believe the black C10 I did, and pushing down those, I took all my weight, and those I could push down pretty easy, so that's good. We got the fuel sending unit fixed. Basically it reads that empty. It's empty and full. It reads like 3/4 to in between 3/4 and full, so not quite on the F, but very close, although I'm still finding my speedo. Basically, it's reading the pulses, but it's not making the needle move up and down. And looking if there was something wrong with that particular gauge. Unfortunately, I can't find those anywhere on the internet. I've checked Summit, I've checked Speedway, I've checked even Stuart Warner's website are basically saying that design is no longer available, which sucks because I thought those were pretty cool looking. But it is what it is. I might be putting a different set of gauges in there. Of course, you call Stuart Warner and their customer service. So far, I have to admit it sucks because I have not been able to get a hold of anybody and or hear back from them. So we'll see what happens in the next couple days. If I need to do that, it sucks because I'll have to change the fuel sending unit probably to a different style gauges. So that means I can't put the bed on yet. I did get the battery draw fixed. I'm going to clean all this up and put some diag grease on that, and then probably paint this because that's kind of gross looking. And then I think what we're going to do on the air compressors is I've got them running off a pressure switch now that shuts off at 140, and I don't like that. It's just not quite enough. I ordered these pressure switches. These are 175 and 135, so these will be shutting the compressors off or these will be starting the compressor where those shut off. And then I've got I ordered a whole bunch of front end stuff. I replaced the ball joints in that a while back, and then when I was in there I noticed like the boots were all trashed, and then a couple of the tie rod ends fell just loose. I got 3 of these. I'm gonna do 3 breakers. I like these because these will actually kick off if you got short and then kick back on rather than like popping a fuse. So if it overloads it for whatever reason, just shuts it off and then it'll start on. And I'm gonna put those something underneath here. That's kind of the plan today. We're gonna see if we can't make some progress on this 52. Alright, now that we got everything tightened, anything that doesn't have that has a cotter key I'm not going to worry about, but anything that doesn't, a lot of times I'll take one of these like paint markers and then just mark kind of like the bolt and then like the threads. Basically the idea is at first glance, if I just jump up or like lay down underneath here and I can look, basically from the front I could tell if any of these nuts have backed off the bolt. I kind of do that with a lot of stuff, like all my time I'm doing suspension stuff. Trick that I like to use just on all my suspension parts, especially on a fresh build when you're putting everything together. The last thing you want is the steering to come apart or a 4-link or something to fall off, you know. So that's just kind of a little helpful hint that I've seen other guys do, and I'd always thought that was pretty cool. So I'm just kind of doing that on all these little nuts and bolts, and then that'll pretty much wrap up the steering. I put ball joints in it a few months back, so ball joints, tie rod ends, steering link is all new, greased and ready to go. So just gonna touch up a couple more of these little bolts and then move on to the next project on this 52. Alright, so we kind of got this, I made this little bracket here, with some 1022 or 1024 nuts on the back of it, or yeah, nuts on the back of it. Ran some bolts and then cut them off because I didn't have 1/4-inch bolts that size. And I hit them with the grinder and then backed them out so that like hopefully it'll pull the threads. I threaded them in and out, and I put these little breakers here. These pop on like so. So I'm gonna run these 3 wires basically down to my fuse box. Hopefully my camera will pick that up. It's kind of dark in there. And then I'm going to mount this somewhere on the firewall. And then basically what that'll do is that'll give me 3 individual systems. One will be AC, one will be harness fuse box for the chassis, and then the other one will be the harness power for the LS. So that way, or when I had the battery draw, I could take each one out and see which system was still pulling a draw. So ended up being the vintage air. That'll kind of wrap up that, I think. One step closer to wrapping up some of the little bugs I need to on this thing, so we can get that thing together. Baby, I'm stuck in the know, messing around with the electrical system. Okay, so I got the brass fittings here, there, and here, which look a lot better, and I think they're going to be a little bit stronger than, and they won't rust like the those other pipe fittings. So basically, I've run in 2 different pressure switches and then rewired. I got 1 wire coming back from the ignition that's teed off. So unless something happens to that wire, it tees off here, and I got the other switch coming back, and both those go up out to here. This is this green wire. We got 2 green wires. That's going to turn our relay on. We're just going to take these 2 wires. This is the 12 volt power. I need to extend these, and then I'm going to mount these 2 fuses here. That way, if the fuse pops, you could at least get up underneath there and swap the fuse out with the thing on the ground. This opens the relay. These come in, which send power over to our 2 compressors. So what I'm trying to do now is just extend these 2 wires, basically leave these 2 fuse holders here. They're the little waterproof ones with the 30 amp flat fuse in there, and then bring these wires probably back up, tie them onto here, and then hook them up here. A set of better air compressors. Wires. These are the 444Cs, I think. Basically, they claim that they're 100% duty cycle and good to 200 psi. And that will run at 175 psi, so should not have a problem. I'm going to go ahead and tear that apart, pull the old compressors off. Hopefully our bracket will make it. I don't know. It's going to be close. I might have to modify our old compressor bracket just a little bit. Basically what we had was a piece of angle iron here, basically cradled on top of the frame, and then angle iron, and then these mounted in here. I was thinking that we could maybe run something here to try to keep dirt and stuff off, and then maybe even take the air filters and run it up here or something. Make the intake a little different so you're not getting a lot of road dirt and stuff on there. But so I'm going to take these off. Not that I don't think those compressors are any good. I just don't think that they're good for 175 psi. And anyway, guys, paying good money for the truck, so I want to go ahead and upgrade all the stuff that I can. So that's the plan for the next couple hours. We'll see if we can get these mounted and hooked up and working. Zero psi. So, I think they're both on. I'm gonna go ahead and start it just because I wanted to kill the battery. They're quite a bit quieter than the old compressors. Let's see what they, how fast they are up, and see if they hit 175. 25, 30. The drop goes down, but man, that needle moves about twice as fast as the other one. So I definitely think that there's a big upgrade there. So let the truck run for a minute and then charge the battery, and yeah, see. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call that a success. They are a lot quieter, and they definitely seem like they air up faster. Like I actually watched the needle on my tank gauge. Seemed like it was moving. I mean, before you have to kind of watch it. This, man, it's just like. So I think now I'm gonna grab my soapy water. It's usually hanging here. Anyway, I'm gonna throw some water on that and see if it leaks, and then we'll pull that out and probably beat on this roof some more. So wish me luck, and we'll see. And then I'm gonna also kind of see what the next couple projects, and I think we're gonna polish this the next couple of days, so maybe that's next time I'll see you guys on the 52 build.